Tango do Flamingo here bringing you today chapter 223 and 227 of Nanatsu no Taizai, or the Seven Deadly Sins. Now, I want to say happy 4th of July to everyone. Hope you guys have had a wonderful day with your family. Really good. When this is uploaded, it's probably going to be the same day, hopefully. But I want to apologize for my absentee for the past, for the week or two. And I want to apologize for that. I really am sorry for my absentee, and I hope you guys can forgive me. By the way, so happy we would reach that 5 subscriber thing. This happened so fast. I want to thank those 5 subscribers. Y'all know who you are. Thank you. I love you, and I appreciate you for the gift that you just gave me of 5 subscribers. Now, be sure to treasure that. Now, let's get on to the chapter. Now, I will say this. My theory from last video was right. I was right. I was not wrong. Now, maybe the method I said about it was wrong, but I wasn't wrong. It's actually shocked that would happen, though. Really am. So let's get off with the beginning of 224. Well, 224, we see Elaine all kind of bedridden, if you remember from the last chapter. And funny thing is we all knew this is about to happen, that she's dying because, well, as we know, she was brought back from the dead. She's supposed to be dead. And I think this takes a toll on her body very sick. So, I don't think she's going to die, but, well, she is going to die, but not from the way of being really ill. And they're on the way to fight the commandment that's keeping her alive. So, either way, she is going to die, and this is going to hurt Bond a lot. It's going to really affect him because that's losing his love for a second time. I'm actually thinking that the series is closing. I really think it's rather... I'll go into this after all this stuff. Let me go on ahead. So we then see that Hellbram and King, a little further ahead, are talking. And Hellbram is congratulating King for, hooking up with Diane. And I really think this is good that we get to see a little bit of lightheartedness and friendship between Hellbram and King. Because we didn't really get to see it that much. I feel like we didn't, and I'm kind of glad we have these moments with them, and I like these moments. Really do. But, all I can really say is, I'm kind of glad this like this, because it shows that they are really best friends. Like, when Hellbram's congratulating King on hooking up with Diane and getting his wings. It's like when you have a buddy that's congratulating you for hooking up with someone that you really liked. Your best friend is like, good job, fam. Good job. And I really like that. Now, one thing I didn't understand was the I don't know if something's about to happen to Hellbrand, but the way they did the whole "you're always gonna be my friend" thing that he said to King, I really feel like that means something's gonna happen to where the connection between King and Hellbrand is gonna be severed. He's not gonna see Hellbrand anymore. It's gonna be this big goodbye at the end of all this. So brace yourself, you Hellbrand fans, or you Hell King shippers. Brace yourselves. Now we going ahead to Bond and Meliodas talking, and Bond asking Meliodas, "Hey, I'm gonna sit this one out." And of course, Meliodas is like, "Oh yeah, sure, bro. Set it out. Understand." And this shocks Bond because you're expecting Meliodas to be like, no, you don't get to leave. You don't get to leave at all. No, nada, zilch. But one thing that really gets it built up is the fact that he says straight up, saying, "You do know that you can sit this out because I know you want to be with Elaine for her final moments, because you do realize when we fight her and kill her, Elaine will die too." And Bond realizes this and says it back, that it's really gonna suck. That it's gonna suck that Bond has to watch Elaine die, but it's really bad for Meliodas, because as we know, for Elizabeth, she's reincarnated a lot, and Meliodas keeps watching it happen. So when Bond says this, it really triggers Meliodas, like, I know exactly what you're going through, but he doesn't say anything. Like, you see in his face. It's a very heartbreaking moment, and it's a very clear realization of what we think is going to happen with Elizabeth. And so we go on further with Elizabeth telling Diane about Well, yeah, everything that Zeldaris told her about her being like over 3,000 years old and how she's died and reincarnated so many times. Diana's like really excited. Like she's taking this like not as a bad thing. Like she's like, oh my god, and you remember all of that? OMG. But it's really it's really how do I say this, interesting moment. Very interesting moment. So all I can say is oh, by the way, if you hear that sound, that is my parents. So please ignore. Please ignore. Okay, so it really goes down to when Elizabeth is, I think it was, healing Elaine, and yeah, she's healing Elaine, and Bond's like, thank you, and all that other good junk. And what's weird is, once all this happens, is her eye shows up, and her second eye shows, and she's like freaking out, saying, I need to go see Meliodas and tell him something. And when Merlin tells her to calm down, she's like, oh my god, Merlin, I haven't seen you in like forever. This shocks Merlin because Merlin, I think, is the same age as Meliodas, or roughly around the same. Or she's old. And Meliodas sees this, it's like, OMG, you have both of your eyes, you remember everything. And what's weird is when this happened is the fact that when this happened, it's just the fact of, oh god, how do I say this? It's the fact that when that happens, she falls over and Meliodas is like crying, and Diane's like, oh my god. She's saying all these things that's like Elizabeth is remembering everything, and it's gonna be so awesome when she tells all things, and Merlin snaps out on her. And it really, actually, first time I've ever seen in a while, seen Merlin like snap at someone. And Diane is acting all cutesy, saying, well, Captain's being the meanie one, not for showing her affection, not wanting her to remember. And there's a reason. And Meliodas tells her this reason, saying she's remembering all her memories, and in about 3 days she will die. And he starts crying, and that's what really hit me about that chapter, is the fact that it showed that there's a reason why she keeps incarnating. There's a reason why it happens. I'm going to go into more of this in the next chapter. If I had to rate this chapter, I'd give it about an 8 out of 10. Like, my only gripe about it is about, like, how sudden it was. Like, how everything keeps happening really fast. It's the speed and the pacing of it. It really makes me think this series is drawing to a close, like what happened with Bleach and Toriko. God, Toriko. But I just hope it's not a rush type thing. And next chapter, let's get on to that. So, this chapter, guys. By the way, I forgot to say, and he's about to tell them everything on why he hasn't told them like anything about himself. So this chapter 220 or 220, we learn everything. We learn how Meliodas got his curse, how Elizabeth got his curse. It explains why why he died and then came back. It explains that. And it's actually heartbreaking. It's like a huge Romeo and Juliet thing. Except Juliet keeps dying. So what we see, and it's this big reveal because we get big lore things. We get things about the Demon King, about the Demon Clan, things about the Goddess Clan too. So we start off with a panel of Elizabeth and Meliodas looking like they were struggling to fight the Demon King and the Grand Goddess Deity. That's right, that's like the big bads of both clans. And it looked like they're working together. And I don't know if this was like the moment they broke a truce or something to take out Meliodas and Elizabeth. Whatever it is, Meliodas and Elizabeth tried fighting them, and dude, the one shot was real. They just theoretically just raped both of them. Just like And considering the Demon King is Meliodas' dad, it's like a 5-year-old trying to fight their like 25-year-old dad. We all know how that go. Bam, and then dead. And that's technically what happened. It looked like they just flicked their wrist and done. The fight was over. And what we learn is they should have died. Both of them should have died right there. One of the teams is like the Demon Clan and the Goddess Clan, they age. Now they might not age as fast, quote unquote, as fast, or they might have a slightly longer lifespan than humans. But eventually they will age and they will die. Now what happens is Meliodas wakes up. And he thinks he should have been dead, but all of his wounds and everything are miraculously healed. And we learn that Elizabeth died. That she died in his arms, like holding his hand. Like we see that when they get struck down, and we see them, they're holding hands in the end, like they were supposed to die. And he's heartbroken. He's like completely heartbroken. It's like if you watch your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your mother, your dad, or someone close to you die. It's going to hit you in the heart, like really hard. And what I really liked about that aspect is, actually no, I should be getting into this later, but we show a lot of years later, roughly has to be around, 16 years for each reincarnation, I'm guessing, since the thing with Liz and actual Elizabeth. 16 years later, obviously. And through this time skip in the flashback, we noticed that the 3000, that the war ended, and he's just walking around and ravaging of the holy war. Like, the war is over. And I don't know if we're going to get any more context in between that on how the war ended, how the Demon Clan got sealed and everything. Has to be something with Meliodas and the sword. Like, that's what we're going to need info on, is how he got that sword originally. And we get to a time skip, and he sees another Liz, and she looks like, I thought she was a giant at first. Or I think she might, no, she was a savage. Like, she's probably early human, maybe. But whatever she was, Meliodas, by his instincts and intuition, knew that was Elizabeth. Knew it was Elizabeth. And over time goes on, we show that the whole things that we've seen even in the earlier parts of the manga, and even for you anime watchers, if you're watching this in the anime, why she developed her healing power so fast, like, and she got the eye. It happens again. It's like a sequence for her. So it's like this: she meets Meliodas, and this is the whole cycle. So let me go through the whole savage part thing. Is like, she meets him, develops her powers like Elizabeth has and done, got the goddess eye, and then she remembers. And she tells Meliodas that she remembers. And Meliodas is so happy because, like, oh my god, yes, that means we can be together. We don't have to worry about this because the war's over. But she stops saying, no, it's a curse. Just promise. And she makes him make a promise, saying, promise me one day you'll figure out how to break the curse. He says, yeah, sure. It's like if you see someone that you're having, they're telling you, no, don't be happy right now. This is a pretty situation. I know I'm back to life, but cut it out. You're going to be happy, but you're going to be like, why do you not want me to do anything about this? And so you're freaking out. And let's just say this. After she gained her memory, 3 years later, and this was actually a very sad panel for me, but I love the way they did it, is she dies. Elizabeth dies, or I'm going to call her Savage Elizabeth, dies in front of Meliodas with a giant, like, looks like a pike, like a pike or a spear, like, through her chest. Apparently this happened in front of him. Now, I don't know how that went down, but whatever happened, she died pretty dang gruesomely, too. And as he buries her, we see that these events happen again and again and again and again and again and again. What she tells him about the curse is, one's gifted with eternal life, and the other one's gifted with reincarnation, like I said earlier. Well, a couple of chapters ago. But that would really explain a lot, like a lot on how we saw Elizabeth from 3,000 years ago, we saw Liz, and then we saw Elizabeth pop out from the 16-year gap automatically. And what happens is, for Meliodas, he won't age and he won't die. If he does die, he'll come back, which is when we saw when the Ten Commandments killed him, he came back. And I think he must have had a curse prior to that, was spoke to him by the Demon King, that made it to where he becomes a little bit more evil. Because that's what happens. And, well, he loses a little bit more of himself every time. And so what happens is the fact that, and for Elizabeth and Meliodas, every time she comes back, she is cursed with always falling in love with him. Same thing for him. He's always cursed for falling in love with her. So the cycle never ends. And when Elizabeth regains her memory, she will always die in front of him. And so it's very bad. And he even says, no matter how many times it happens, I still don't get used to it. So this means that they have to find the break of the curse within 3 days or Elizabeth dies. And honestly, I don't think Meliodas is going to be able to take another one. Or if she does die, and the only one that can break, and as he says, the only one that can break the curse is the Demon King, the goddess deity, or someone equally equivalent to his power. So they have to find someone who has. We haven't met anyone with their power, and I don't think the Demon Queen or the entity are going to be able to just give that to them. So it means we're going to eventually find someone who can break that curse. So I don't know if it's going to be like what they did with Meliodas, where you know how they did a little bit of a time skip after his death, then he came back. I know they're going to do the same thing with Elizabeth, like do a whole 3-year time skip after the whole Demon Clan thing, and then they fight. I think the fight, like the people have said, like other reviewers have said, Chibi Reviews, all those other good stuff. Go subscribe to them. Chibi Reviews for Neverworld, Tekken 101, King of Lightning, all these good people. All of these good people. Go subscribe to them. Like, go on your Google. Type them in. Chibi Reviews for Neverworld. One word, by the way. Tekken 101. Find them. Look for them. King of Lightning. That should be hard. Subscribe to them. Tell them Kaylin says hi and that. Greatly appreciate them. You don't even have to. Don't self-promote me. And I don't want to be self-promoted. But if you do, please. But, yeah. This chapter was pretty hefty. The fact that they have to break the curse or Elizabeth's curse. And it hurts everyone. Like, after he tells this whole thing, you see a Hawk cry. Deanne cries, meaning, like, it didn't even ask, what happens if we break the curse? Does that mean that he's like, I'm thinking that means they die. Like, they die once they break the curse. And what happens is, he says, that's what my journey's been leading up to. And he says there was a prophecy that would mean the rise of the Ten Commandments and the 7 deadly sins. So I'm meaning that this has to be preordained, that the curse is going to be broken. And Meliodas and Elizabeth will die. 7 deadly sins will end. And it's rather, the Demon Clan is going to be our last. Demon Clan and Goddess are going to be our last villains, and then the series and manga is over until the anime pops back up. And that'll be the end of it. And that's going to be a tough thing to see go. But overall, this chapter actually opened a lot, so I'm going to put some little nuances in there. I was so shocked to realize that the Goddess Clan is like... But the Goddess Clan is, well, the deity is Elizabeth's mom. So, what I'm thinking, I have another theory like I had last time. That the Demon King and the deity are, well, related, and there's a higher power above both of them that's going to break Elizabeth and Meliodas' curse. That's my theory. That has to be. Because he mentioned, he didn't just say only one of those two, he said, or someone equally as powerful. So, which means there's got to be someone that can break the curse. And it has to be someone related to both the Demon King or the deity. Or someone that they know. I'm recommending it's probably going to be like their father, because I think the Demon King and the goddess are related. It's a lot of symbolism, I'm going to say, to a lot of other religions, and I'm going to name them in case some of you people don't think personally like that. but it has to be something, like, they have to be related in some type of way, and whoever, like, made them has to be the one to break the curse. Now, one thing I want to say is, if this series ends, I'm not going to be upset on how it ends, because I love the characters, I love the art, I love everything about the series. I'm upset that I took this long to review it. I'm sorry that I made you guys wait so long, so this is going to be an apology video, but really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like it if you did. Dislike it if you didn't. Dislike it if you didn't like my background, or anything that you didn't like. Dislike it, or if anything that you liked it. Subscribe and share to your friends. Share on Facebook. I can't really say follow me on Instagram or Twitter because I have Instagram, but I don't post on it that much. I might post on it sooner, later, possibly. And share it, by the way, for those guys who are still waiting for that gaming part of this channel that I said this was going to be about. I'm waiting to get a lot of the stuff. Now, if you want to be all like, hey bro, get that stuff ASAP, because I'm only here for them games. And I'll be like, okay, I'm going to work up the money, buy it, gaming channel will start. First game I'm probably going to play is Injustice, because I like Injustice. And by the way, if you have a manga, anime, TV series, or video game you want me to play, review, or anything on this channel, or if you have a recommendation, leave it in the comment section below. And tell me. But in the end of all that, all I want to say to you guys is live, love, most of all, love yourself. Good day, guys. Have an awesome day.